Digital marketing specialist. I've been working with digital marketing for about 10 years. And most of my experience has been in-house for small companies. And I've been always working as a digital marketing generalist. Let's put it this way, because marketing is like any other field. It has, the generalists, people that do a little bit of everything, and the specialists. And I've been pretty much a generalist my entire career. So I have a very good knowledge of SEO, email marketing, social media, and different channels. But recently I decided to specialize. And nowadays what I do is I work with marketing automation, specifically with a platform called HubSpot, which is a marketing automation platform used by sales and marketing teams. And it lets you connect your CRM with email marketing, with social media scheduling, and so on and so on. So this is essentially what I do. I work with companies that use this platform. The other reason why I'm telling you this is because I'm going to give this as an example in one of my slides later. So I just wanted you to have some context. I will show you my website as well. What else about me? I am originally from Brazil, so that explains the accent. But I've lived abroad for a few years. I've lived in Germany, moved to Australia, and now I am in Portugal, in the beautiful city of Lisbon. All right, so that's me.
Can we double check the waiting room real quick, just in case there are more people before we jump in?
Sure, of course. Let me just exit. Oh no, what did I do here? I guess this is where I have to go. How do I do that? Man, I'm so bad with Zoom.
If you just click on participants, you should see if there's someone else that's trying to get in.
Cool. Doesn't look like. Okay, so every time I get a notification and then I accept people like right away after I see it. So
yeah, you would get the notification. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Delita. I'll let you.
No worries. No worries. That's fine. Cool. So you guys can see my screen, right? We have a lot of people joining. I'm so excited. Okay, so SEO. What is SEO? I think, and especially because I just told you guys, I don't really know how familiar you guys are with the stuff I'm going to talk about. So the easiest way for us to, make sure we make the most out of this workshop is really just kind of like be on the same page. So let's review a little bit, what is SEO? And if you know what is SEO and you're like, oh my God, just, bear with me. It's not going to last too long. We're going to get to the tasty content later on. But for now, let's just review it real quick. So the easiest way of understanding what is SEO is understanding what's not SEO, right? That's usually what I explain when someone asks me for the first time, what is SEO? Typically, if you go to Google and you search for anything, and here I give an example, Portuguese courses, there's two types of results you're gonna see. You're gonna see the ads, usually on top, and then right underneath, you're gonna see the organic results. How do I know that they are ads? Because there is a tag here saying ad or sponsored or anything that indicates this is a paid content, meaning the company paid to be there. They paid for a position. They basically told Google, hey, I'm going to give you whatever, this amount of money. Every time someone Google Portuguese courses, show my website, kind of. This is how it should be. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that in a second. So that's not SEO, right? It's paid marketing, and that's usually what comes on top after a search. So what is SEO then? Giving the same example, Portuguese courses, these are the first results that I have for that search. And how do I know? Well, first of all, they don't have a tag saying anything about paid content, right? And typically you would have 10 of these results per page. In every page, you would have, a few ads usually on top or on the side in the format of banners, display, and so on. And then right underneath, you have the content, which is always kind of like, it always looks like that. There is a URL, there's a website, there's a title, and there's some description, okay? So SEO is essentially websites doing everything they can to rank well organically speaking, without having to pay for that position on Google. So that is SEO. Well, SEO in a certain way is like free advertisement, because even though you think, okay, I might be paying someone, maybe I'm paying someone to do the SEO for me, right? You're maybe have an employee or you're paying an agency, whatever. Of course, there's that investment of time and money, but if you consider only the strategy and the things you're going to do, the SEO techniques, and most of the stuff we're going to talk about today, you're not paying for that. You're just doing stuff, setting everything up, and then doing stuff yourself, and then it's free, isn't it? So in a certain way, it's like free advertisement. Cool. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, and in a nutshell, this is how SEO works. You publish a website or any content on your website, a blog post, new product page, anything. And then the crawler, let's refer to it as the crawler, or imagine like a little robot, which is in this case Google, but it can be Bing, Yahoo. These are search engines, right? They are search websites, and imagine them like if they were little robots. So what they're doing is they are going around the web and they are crawling everything that they see. And when they get to their website, the first thing they do is they look at your website, they read the content, they read text, right? That's how they understand content. And they register that information. So they go, okay, this website here is about Portuguese courses. Cool, I understand that. The second thing that the crawler, the robot, is going to do is they're going to index the website. So imagine like a big library or a place with a lot of files. And basically what the robot is doing is, and it's putting like in a drawer, okay, this is a website about Portuguese course. This is a website about online lessons. This is a website about this, about that. So the crawler is saving information, is registering information about different websites. And they do this continuously, all the time, every day, all the time. That's how search engines work. They discover a new website, they understand the website, they index the website. And then this part here is funny because this is the ideal case scenario. Next time when a user searches for, let's say, Portuguese courses, and the crawler matches the topic of the content with what they have registered, they will show your website in position 1 on the SERP. SERPs is essentially the pages with the organic search results. This is how it should be, but it's not always like that. That's because not always you're going to be ranking first, right? Sometimes you're not on page 1, sometimes you're not on page 2, sometimes you're on page 6, 7, 8, and that's why there is this emoji here. Oh, I wish I could be first. The thing is, SEO is a long-term process. Of course, when you start setting up things and doing SEO, you're not going to see results right away, specifically for new websites. So yeah, it's quite common that as soon as you get started, you're not ranking on the first page right away. However, that's your goal, right? Your goal is to be, when it comes to SEO, your goal is to be at least in the first page, and really ideal case scenario in the top 3 results. And why? Why do you want to be on the first page? Typically, people, they only click on the first result. I even put some statistics to show you guys here. This graph is really interesting. So basically, these are the 10 organic results that I see on the first page on Google, right? Imagine that 28% of people that make a search, that do a search on Google, they will click on the first result. Only 2% of the users will click on the 10th result, the last result on that page. This is the first page. So imagine the other pages. 70% of people that search anything on Google, they don't go beyond page 1. They stay on page 1 and they click on the top 3 results. That's what the statistics are telling me. So that's why you want to be, of course, on top 3, on top 1, and if not possible, at least on the first page. Cool. So that we just talked about that. So you want to be at least in the first page to get clicks. Okay, now you're telling me stuff that I know, right? I want to be the top result. I know that. So how do we actually make this happen? Well, there are the top three SEO ranking factors. Of course, there's much more than three, but today we're going to talk about the fundamentals, things that are definitely going to help you rank higher on Google. And are you ready to find out what the top three SEO factors are?
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. So the top three factors are: number one, you need to make it easy for Google to find your website, index it, and love it. Number two, your website content needs to meet the user's intent. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, wait a sec, we're gonna take a look at one by one. And number three, your website needs to have a great performance. These are the top three SEO factors. In other words, your website needs to be good for Google, good for your customers, and work great. Just heard someone calling someone here. Is it by audio, or can you guys also hear that?
We heard it, but no problem.
Ah, right. Okay, cool. Awesome. So that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I actually can't see the chat somehow, but unmute yourself and let me know if you have any questions about anything that I'm saying. Essentially, these are the top three SEO ranking factors that we're going to be talking.
I have a
Sure.
quick question. And maybe this is just me not being well versed, but the search engines, when they index your site, what are they basing that on?
So Google reads text. So everything, I'll talk about this in a second as well, and I'll show you an example, but everything that is visual on a website, there is a backend behind it, right? So there is a code that structures that page. So what Google is doing is Google or Bing or Yahoo for that matter, they are reading what's behind that website. And that's text, right? And we have words describing what their website is about, what the pages are about, what the blog posts are about. So what Google is doing is they're getting this information and they are saving it in their files. Simply put, that's more or less what indexing means. It just means like saving information about a website. Yeah. And Google, there's a lot of stuff about SEO that Google and Yahoo and Bing and any search engines, they don't talk about, kind of like, they don't really reveal their secrets, right? There is no reason why they would do that. So the precise way of like, how they index websites, it's not something that we know. But we know that this is the order of things. First, they understand, they index, save, and then they show in the rankings. That's how it works. All right, cool. So let's take a look at the first ranking factor, how to make Google find you, your website, your business, and love what you're doing. What I just told you about when you're talking about indexing. So just let's make sure we're on the same page when it comes to names of stuff. When I'm talking about front end or user interface, I'm referring to everything that a user sees, right? All the visuals, like what the user sees on a website when they access a website. And here's an example. This is my website, talitamillan.com, and I have, my photo, I have some text, some colorful stuff here, a logo, blah, blah, blah. That's all the visual stuff. That's what the end user sees. For this to be like this, to be looking like this, there is a code behind it. There is the text that makes the structure of that website. So essentially what you're seeing here is this, and this is, make this banner orange, position this image like this. So this is the source code, is the text that describes to search engines what is here. And why? Because search engines, they don't understand images. They only understand text. This is why SEO is so important. Whatever you position in your website visually and also on videos, you have to describe that video, that image in a text format. We'll talk about that in a second. I'd probably be confusing now, but we'll see examples. So front end, what the user sees, back end, what's behind the website. if you have, if your website is developed, is programmed by an IT team, or you have a developer that works for you, whatever, this whole thing will be coded from scratch. I use Wix. There are other websites as well, Squarespace, WordPress. There are other, website platforms that you can use that, you don't need to code your website. You just go there and drag and drop things and everything looks good in the end. That's, my website was built on Wix, and yeah, I just wanted to show you how the backend and in the front end looks like, for any website. For any website, you can find the backend as well. Cool. So tell Google.
So, Chalita, so sorry to interrupt. To everyone, you will get the recording, and someone just emailed me and they're about to try to get in. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. I think I'll see the notification here when it pops up. Let's see. Are they joining now, Melinda?
They should be joining in any minute. So just carry on, and when you get the.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. So tell Google what your website is about by positioning the keywords in strategic places. Okay, so remember that I told you guys that I work as a HubSpot consultant, right? That's my job. So HubSpot consultant is obviously one of my main keywords. Keywords are terms, or really anything that, phrases, even anything that a user, a person, puts on Google and searches for. So if I want to appear on Google for HubSpot consultant, for digital marketing specialist, those are my keywords. So for you to explain Google what your website is about, really is about putting these keywords that you selected in strategic places. Now, remember when we were talking about the backend of my website, I use Wix for my website. And on Wix, there is a section where you can edit your SEO settings. Squarespace has that. Any other website development platforms have that. If you're not doing this because you have a developer working for you, you just ask your developer and they will know where everything is. But essentially, this is where you put your keywords. That's where you position the text that describes your product, your service. Okay. This is how a result appears on Google. There is always going to be a title, a URL, and a meta description and a description. And where do I put this stuff? I go to the back end of my website, and I, on Wix, actually they have a setting, for a page title, and then they ask, what's the page title do you want to position? Then you just write whatever you want, the description, whatever you want. So that's really how I do. As I said, for each website, it will be a different case. It depends a lot on which platform you are using, okay? All right. You're talking about keywords, terms, blah, blah, blah. How do I select the right keywords for my business? First thing is you're going to create a list of keywords. You're going to create a list of terms that are important to you. What are these terms? These keywords are sentences or terms or just words really that describe your business and your product, your service, whatever is it that you do as a business. There's a few ideas for you to put together this list. You can brainstorm with your team. You can ask your customers. If you're in e-commerce, just look at your stock, right? What do you sell? Those are your keywords right there in front of you. You can look at your competitors, but really, you know much more than I do which are the top keywords that you should be choosing to optimize your website for. So, just come up with a list and brainstorm and put a few keywords together, and that's how you get started with keyword selection. After you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the search trend. I'm going to open a link here because I want to show this to you guys, and then just let me know if you're still seeing my screen after I click on this link here. I want to show you the search trend on Google Trends. Can you guys see the website, Google Trends?
Yep, we can see it.
Awesome, cool. Google Trends is one of the tools that you can use to find out what is the search volume of those keywords that you just selected. What is search volume? Search volume is an estimation of how many people look for that keyword in a given period of time. let's take a look at one example. Let's say you have an e-commerce and you sell dining tables. That's your keyword, right? Dining tables. Malinda just accepted Dora here, so just for you to know. All right, dining tables, that's your keyword. If you go to Google Trends, I will put all these links. These links are in the slide, and then as soon as you guys have it, you can find all where everything is. But yeah, Google Trends is a place where you can see the search volume of a given keyword. I selected the United States, and I selected for the past 12 months. And what are these numbers here? These numbers show me, really, it's an estimation of how many people on a given month are looking for that keyword, dining tables. It's an estimation. It doesn't mean that it is actually that number, but Google, based on all their statistics and algorithms and analysis, they estimate this number, and that's a pretty reliable source. If you scroll down, you can even go further than that and see related keywords. Queries and keywords are the same thing. So look at how cool. If you sell dining tables, you can actually come here to related queries and take a look at the uprising trends, sort of, that are related to what you just looked for. So outdoor dining tables and chairs, dining rooms tables on sale, modern rectangular dining tables. So all of these are keywords that you can include in your list because people are searching for that, right? And there's much more information that you can find out on Google Trends. You can see in which states people are looking for a specific thing. And you can change the date, you can change the location, and it's super cool. So definitely use Google Trends when you are selecting your list of keywords, of terms that are important to your website. So going back to the presentation, next slide. Cool, that's just an image of what we just saw, the related queries. I put it here because I didn't know if I would be able to open a link. You guys are going to continue seeing the link. Cool tools to use for finding keywords. Really, the first one I just showed you, Google Trends. Use the keyword planner from Google AdWords. These two guys here are free, okay? All these other ones, you have to create an account to use. These two specifically, you have a limited number of free searches that you can do. After that, you have to pay. And these guys here are super expensive. So save those for when you have a bit more marketing budget to invest, but they are awesome tools. And yeah, definitely recommend it. Just obviously, perhaps if you're just getting started, no need to go for them now, but definitely use Google Trends and Google AdWords. As soon as you guys have the slideshows, you'll have all the links. So don't worry about, taking a picture of the screen and copying whatever, because you're going to have all that later. All right. When you're selecting keywords, you want to choose keywords that have a high search volume and a low competition. What do I mean by low competition? I mean, like, everybody is sort of fighting for a place on Google, right? Google is the SEO organic results are getting competitive because there's every day more and more e-commerces. There's every day more and more IT businesses. There's, everybody's competing for a place out there. So when I talk about competition, I'm talking about how difficult it is to rank for that keyword. And what we want to go for is for keywords that have a high search volume and a low competition. So I'll give you an example to make this clear. One of my clients was looking to create a holiday gifts guide. They are in e-commerce. And I was looking at some keywords they could use. So let's take a look at these keywords here. Gift ideas for women. This is the competition. This is what these colors here are indicating. It goes from 0 to 100, okay? So the closer to 100, the more sort of orangish it becomes. This term here has a really high search volume, right? 28K per month, but it's also a very competitive term. So I wouldn't go for it, because if I'm a new website, especially if I'm a website that is not that popular yet, it's going to be really difficult to rank for this term. So what we decided to go for is for terms that have a little bit of a lower search volume, but that are also easy to rank for, that have a low competition. The tools that I gave you, the links that I showed you guys in the previous slides, all of them show search volume and competition. So you are able to see that on whichever tool you're choosing. Look at these two ideas here. Retirement. Yes, questions coming?
Question here. So when you put in the search, is it that you just put in gift ideas and then it gave you other keywords, or did you actually put these individual sentences in? You did.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I did there is I put gift ideas for women. I think that's how I searched for. Every SEO tool that you're going to use, they're always going to have a related keywords section, and that's what you should look at. Because sometimes when we are thinking about keywords, we tend to go very generic. Even gift ideas for women, it's also quite generic. It's a big, broad term. We don't really think about specific stuff that people could also be thinking about, also could be searching about, but and that would be great for us to rank for. And these are awesome examples. Retirement gift ideas for women over 50. It's a low competition and it's a very good search volume. So answering to your question, Tash, in every SEO tool, you're always going to have a related keyword section where you can find those hidden gems that you didn't think about, but they are awesome for your list. And now you can ask, okay, what is a good search volume? I cannot tell you that. And that's because every industry has a different benchmark. This is something that you have to, with your team, or if you're a one-man band, whatever, you have to find it for yourself. The best thing of doing is looking at the competitors and what they rank for and what is realistic for you to go for. But if you're just getting started, you can definitely go for terms that are even less than 1,000K search volume and use them for blog posts or any other content or product pages. Actually, these gift ideas for women over 50, they are perfect example of a keyword we could go for in a blog post, for example, and or a landing page or anything like that. So what I'm doing here is I'm selecting keywords to optimize my website for, and I'm going to show you in a second where you're going to put all these keywords. Okay, cool. This is getting complicated, but where you're going to put your keywords? There are certain places that you absolutely must include your keywords for Google to understand what your website is about. Let's say you're in e-commerce and you sell, I don't know, hiking gear, okay? Add your primary keyword, which probably be hiking gear, in your title tag and description. This is, remember that I showed you in one of the previous slides where I do that. That's in the SEO section of your platform, the platform that you use to manage your website. You're going to include that keyword in the URL of your website or of the page in your website. You're going to include it in a heading of your website, and you're going to include it in the content of that page. Why? Again, because what I'm doing here is I'm telling Google, hey, Google, this is what my website is about. There's a lot of indicators here that you can read and understand and index and show my website whenever people are looking for that. I chose one example to show you guys from Moz. Moz is an awesome resource about SEO. So moz.com, if you guys want to learn more about SEO. One of their blog posts is called On-Page SEO Ranking Factors. And observe how they have this keyword on their meta title, on their description, on their URL, right? The URL of the page, where the page is located in the website. It's here, On-Page Factors. They have it in the heading and they have it in the content. Am I going too fast, or how you guys feel about all that? Does it sound a bit complicated? Just let me know in the chat if you have any questions. But this is all called the metadata. You have to optimize all that in the, when I say optimize, really what I'm saying is just add this keyword in the text, add this keyword in these strategic places on the back end of your website. Okay, cool. So I just said you have to include a keyword on the content of the page, but you don't have to include it 20 times. You do not have to. It's crazy. Look what I found. Our company provides software development and consulting services. We're the best software development and consulting services company. Man, they repeat like the same keyword, I don't know, like what, 10 times in a short text. It's crazy. Like, you shouldn't do that. And that's because Google understands when you're trying to force your rankings. This is called keyword stuffing. This means repeating the same keyword over and over and over and over and over again because I want to rank for it. But look, you're not going to rank for it because you're repeating your keyword 100 times. Google understands when you're repeating keywords in an unnatural way. That's how they refer to it. So whoever asks me how many times they should use a keyword in a text, there is not a percentage. It's not, 2 times in a text that has 100 words, whatever. There is not such a thing. You have to include keywords in your text in a natural way, like if you're talking to someone in a natural way, in a way that a normal conversation would happen. Please do not repeat the same keyword so many times in your text. That's something that Google can penalize you for, and that's why I have this emoji crying here. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay? Google's not dumb. Google's not dumb. Forget about it. And it will penalize you for doing keyword stuffing. Okay? Try to optimize your text in a way that is natural for Google, natural for your user. If your user lands on your page and finds out the same keyword repeated 30 times, they'll probably be like, what's wrong with you? Like, don't do that, because it sounds unnatural not only for Google, but also for the customer, which is, the person who is ultimately going to buy from you. And that's not what you want. Okay. Now, in saying that, okay, we're going to get the keywords, we're going to select the best terms, we're going to put them in our content, our meta title, our meta description, our content, blah, blah, blah. Does it have to be that exact match? Does it have to be, in this case, how to make chocolate cake? Do we have to have that exact keyword like written like that? No, you don't. And I'll give an example here. I Google how to make chocolate cake. The first thing I'll see will be recipes, and the first organic result, see that there is not a tag here, it's an organic result. It shows me easy chocolate cake recipes. Let me just, I cannot see my own page. How do I do that? Okay, easy chocolate cake recipes. So that's a related keyword that is that is related to the keyword that I searched for. So I searched for how to make chocolate cake. If I'm searching for it, it's because really I want to learn how to make a chocolate cake. I don't bake very well. It's actually true. And what Google is doing here is they're like, okay, let me take a look at all the websites that have, information on how to make a chocolate cake, and BBC is one of the first ones, and they don't have that exact keyword. They have a related keyword on their meta title, and Google is smart enough to understand that one thing is related to the other. Okay, so when you're selecting your list of keywords, and you find stuff like, I don't know, software development services London, the way it's written, it doesn't sound natural, right? Software development services London should be like software development services in London, or and it's not because it's how you found the keyword that you should definitely use it like that. You can use variations of it, you can change the words. Trust me, Google is smart enough to understand that one thing is related to the other. Okay, so feel free to use variations as long as the content is that thing that you're going for, that keyword that you're going for. And Google will change their search results according to what you are looking for. Typically, if a user searches for stuff that starts with a how to make a chocolate cake, how to build an IKEA wardrobe, whatever, I'll find tutorials here, either in the format of infographics or videos or anything like that. So whatever a user is searching for, Google will sort of, be smart enough to try to match as much as they can the content that they have indexed with what the user is going for. That's Google's main mission on earth, is to find the best results for your search. Okay. So in saying that, you can use related keywords in your optimization. Quick keyword tips. Typically, you would use shopping intent keywords for product pages. So I was looking for parka jackets. On Google, there's that shopping section. If you just click on shopping, it's right next to images. If you click on shopping, you're going to see products that have that name on it. So if I click in any of these two products, I'm going to go to the product page, which will be called, any variation of parka jackets for women. These are shopping intent keywords. What do I mean by shopping intent? It means, like, really, if I'm looking for parka jackets for women, most likely I want to buy one, right? That's the intent behind my search, is that I ultimately want to buy that product. There is shopping intent keywords, and there is also informational intent keywords. So keywords that I look for when I'm trying to get informed about something, when I'm trying to understand something better. And here is one example. I don't know if you guys can see, probably the image looks a bit small for you, but anyway, we'll see this website bigger later. I'll show you the full website. It's an online plants shop, and they have a section called plant care. So tips for, taking care of your plants. This is their keyword, plant care. If the user is searching for plant care, it doesn't mean that they want to buy a plant. It means that they want to, get some tips on how to take care of their plants, right? So typically you would use shopping intent keywords for product pages, and let's call them informational intent keywords for the content, the fun section of your website, the content hub, the blog, the online magazine, or whatever is it that you have on your website that is pure content, right? That is not like trying to sell anything. It's not a product page or anything. It's pure content. So you always use informational intent keywords for blog posts, guides, magazines, whatever. Use them. You know why? Because you'll be ahead of your competition. Nowadays, there's way too many businesses that only optimize their websites for shopping intent keywords. And what happens is that they are only capturing the attention of the user when they have the intent of buying. The thing is, not always we have the intent of buying. Maybe this is going to come later. For now, I just want to get informed. So if I'm looking for plant care tips, I want to find text, video, whatever, tutorials about plant care. Maybe I buy a plant from you later. So by using informational intent keywords in your content, you are capturing the attention of people that are not ready to buy yet, but maybe they will become ready in the future. Okay, and do that. That's a great way of sort of like capturing the attention of potential customers when they are in different mindsets and different stages of their search, really. Let me know if you guys have any questions on the difference between both. Typically, informational intent keywords will be longer. It will be how to blah, 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 blah. How do I blah, 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 blah. A sentence, a full, a long, what we call a long tail keyword. And shopping intent will sometimes be a bit shorter. I don't know, plus size bikinis, or, bikinis, women, parkas. Talking a lot about parkas because I want to buy one. That's why I'm always going to use the same example here. Okay. Use keywords in your product categorization. So if you're in e-commerce, you are going to have different pages for your different products, right? You're not going to put all your products in one page only. So use your keywords in product pages, in category names. So here's an example, asus.com. They have a section called women. which is divided in women jackets, women pants, women skirts, blah, 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 blah. And then if you click on women jackets, you can find parkas, okay? Another example from, let's stop talking about e-commerce a little bit. Let's go, web development services, bobscompany.com. Web development services, this is their keyword here. WordPress development services is their keyword as well. So when you're doing your keyword list, separate your list into groups, really, groups that would represent a category of your services or products, or keywords that will represent your actual products or that service that you're offering. And that's a great way of organizing your website structure. We'll see that later as well. Make sure the content of the page matches the intent of that keyword, okay? So if the page title say red women skirts, as a user, I want to go to your website, I want to go to that page, and I want to see red women skirts in that page. I don't want to see a photo of a banana or anything else. Match the intent of your user with that keyword in your content. Google is getting smarter and smarter about websites trying to rank for keywords that have a high search volume, but then you go to the content of the page and it's not really related to the keyword. So don't do that. Whichever keywords you choose, optimize the content, write your content, produce your content in a way that it matches the intent of your user, okay? And follow SEO best practices for everything I just said, but it's a lot to talk about. So I included a link here for homework for you guys to take a look at this link later. It's on moz.com. They are an awesome website to learn everything you need to know about SEO. Please, the link is here. After you get the presentation, head to the website and take a look at their tutorials and their beginners guides and everything. They have all the, let's say, best practices, on-page best practices that you should follow to increase your probability of ranking higher. There is a certain way you should write your title. There is a certain way you should create the URL of your website. There's a certain way you should write the meta description, okay? Those are the best practices. By following them, you increase your probability of Google going, cool, great stuff. Save it. I'm gonna show it for the users later on, okay? So take a look at that later. It's a lot to cover, but that's definitely a great resource for you to have in your bookmarks tab. Okay. Factor number 2. First of all, let me know if you guys have any questions on factor number 1. If not, we're heading to factor number 2, how to match user intent. What do I talk about when I refer to great content, great relevant content, blah, blah, blah? What is that? Well, I was reading an interview yesterday with Google's webmaster trends analyst, a guy who works at Google called Martin Split. And what he said is, let's read that together. You have to have really good content. And that means you have to have content that serves a purpose for the user. It's something that users need or want. Optimally, they need it and want it like ice cream. So if your content says where you are, what you do, how you help me with what I'm trying to accomplish, that's fantastic. Meaning, your content has to be awesome. It has to match the user's intent. It has to be relevant, and it has to be in-depth, user-friendly, unique, authoritative, trustworthy, aligned with user search intent. These are all abstract ways of saying the same thing. Just whatever it is that you're creating, make it with intention. So if you decide that you want to rank for the keyword on-site SEO ranking factors in your blog, write a good blog post about that. What is a good blog post? Think about it like if you're a user searching for that exact keyword, what would you like to see? What would you like to read about? Usually, it doesn't have to be like that, but usually tends to be the case that these types of contents, they are a little bit longer, they are a little bit more in depth. Sometimes we use videos, sometimes we use just text only, and it can be great, that's fine. I'm talking about quality, which in consequence ends up turning out in, becoming a long form type of content. Okay, you're like, okay, you're talking about blog posts. Now, what do I do with my product page? How can I make my content be awesome? Well, again, is the description of your product good enough? Do you have the measurements of the product? Do you have shipping information? Do you have price? You have the essentials, really. This is great content, is kind of like meeting the essentials and going a little bit beyond. Probably sounds a bit abstract. So let's take a look at one. No, I have one example, but that's not now. That's in the next slide. So coming back to the in-depth thing, this is just an interesting statistic that I wanted to show you guys. This is the position of a website on Google, right, from 1 to 10. And this is the average content length. What do we see by this graph? We understand that websites that typically rank on top 3 or rank in the first page in the beginning of the SERPs, right, the beginning of the organic results, are long form contents. Again, it does not have to be like that. Quality doesn't mean quantity. You don't have to write a Bible, whatever, if, just because you feel like you have to. But it's an interesting thing to show you that in-depth content usually tends to be longer. And if you're creating blog posts or other types of content, maybe consider adding that extra level of information that is basically, it can be exactly what your user wants to see. Let's see one example of what I consider great content. This is an e-commerce, they sell plans. I show you guys this example in the slide before. Let's click on it. And can you guys see my screen as well? Patch plans. This is what you should be seeing the website from Patch Plans. Please let me know if not. Cool. Okay. Now I just saw the chat now. That's crazy. I didn't know where the chat was located in my screen, but now I found it. Awesome. All right. Patch Plans, as I was telling you, they sell plants, right? And they have an awesome section on their website dedicated to plant care. And I think they are number 2 on Google when it comes to plant care. If I'm not wrong, I did this search yesterday, and that's I think that was either number 1 or number 2 on how to care for your plants. Take a look at the content that they have for this keyword. They have someone called Alice, who is apparently a plants expert and teaches you everything you need to know about taking care of your plants. They have a full course here on plant care with a lot of video content. They have some CTA, some call to action for us, sign up in case you don't have time to watch the course. They have guides, right? Look at how cool this is. I'm so excited when I see this kind of stuff, because these are informational intent keywords. Let's click on one of them. How much should I water my plant? I have plants here at home. They die within 2 weeks after I buy them. I don't know how much water I should give to my plant. So that's where I should go to, really, if as a user. They have a video here. They have some text. They have an infographic. This is awesome. An image, right? Some more text here. And they have their product on the side, because you just read the text. Now you might be interested in buying my plant, right? So what this is showing me that really you can create awesome content for whatever it is that you do as a business. I had a client that was a moving company. Okay, there is only so much you can talk about moving, right? And trucks and stuff like that. Well, there is a lot of cool stuff that you can talk about when it comes to moving and transportation services. We did moving guides. What do you need to know when you move from Sydney to Brisbane? I was living in Australia at the time. There's a lot of content you can create about whatever it is that you do as a business. I don't care. There is awesome content that you can create. You can target informational keywords, and you can position content in a way that maybe the user is not going to buy right away. Maybe the user is not going to close the deal right away, but maybe they will after. And the cool thing about it is that really becomes a resource. So every single time I'm thinking about how to take care of my plans, I'm going to come back to this website because I know that they are good. And this also increases the chances of a user buying stuff, right? If I keep coming back to this website over and over again, and I bookmark it and whatever, you know, it increases the chances of people buying. Now, in saying that, I'm not saying that you need to do video, you need to create a full course, you need to do this and that. Take it easy if you're just getting started. But put an effort into providing your user what they want, okay? Patch plans is definitely going above and beyond, but you don't have to do a full course about your services. You can start increasing content in your page slowly, and you can start by just having a great product page, you know, just not, why not? All right, cool. Now we took a look at one example from patch plans. I'd have the same image here. And here is an image of their product page. Their product pages are also really good. They're basic and they just answer what the user needs, which is they want to know, okay, I want to buy a water can. There's the price, there's add to my bag, there's the title, and there's some description about the product, and that's it, right? So give users what they want. You don't have to make confusion in your head. Just think about what do they want when they search for this keyword and give them that. You can be creative about it. There's millions of creative ways you can give users what they want. Okay. Okay. We talked a lot about content. We talked a lot about optimization. Now we're going to be talking about techie stuff. But I need a sip of water because I'm running out of voice here. Making sure your website performs well. Making sure your website has a great performance. What do I mean by that? You guys know that series, The IT Crowd? I think they're great. I just somehow had to use this image here. I don't know why. This is from The IT Crowd. And that's probably your IT guy right now thinking, oh my God, more work for me. That's exactly that. More work for the IT guys. Look, there is a lot of stuff that your website has to sort of comply with for Google to be like, okay, that's great stuff. But the most fundamental, the most basic things that your website has to have is it has to load fast. That's what I mean by page load speed. It has to be mobile friendly. It has to have a good structure, organized in an easy way. It has to be safe. And it has to have a good user experience. You know what is a good user experience. You know why? Because if you go to a website and you have no idea what it's about, you're clicking here, you're going to another page, you don't know how to come back. That's a bad user experience. So you know what it is. Everybody knows what a bad user experience is. Everybody knows what a good user experience is, right? A good user experience is essentially putting your website in a way that everybody understands what's going on, right? Let's take a look at why you need those things. Why do you need a website to load fast? Because people don't like slow websites. People don't have patience. I don't have patience. If I land on your website and it's taking too long to load, I'll go out of there. I am not going to stay there. And that's what I mean by bounce rate. Bounce rate is really people that leave your website right away because they're annoyed at whatever, at either bad content or it loads really slow. And look at how interesting. So the more, this is page load increasing time, the more your website takes to load, the higher the bounce rate, right? So this is the percentage of people that are leaving the website right away after realizing that it takes 7 seconds to load. Imagine 7 seconds. We don't have patience for that, do we? We don't. Your website has to be quick, right? Obviously, this, when it comes to this is pretty technical stuff. So your developer should be able to help you with that, or the person who manages your website should be able to help you with that. And if not, there are links in the slides where you can learn more about how to make sure that your website is loading fast. Okay. in case you're doing everything on your own. Like my case, I'm also one woman band. So mobile traffic is increasing more and more. That's why your website has to be mobile friendly. Look at how interesting. From 2009 until 2018, the percentage of global mobile traffic has increased exponentially. In 2018, almost half of the global traffic, people accessing websites from all over the world, is coming from mobile. This is really interesting. And another interesting thing is that with coronavirus, the increase of desktop traffic has increased a lot. Why? Because people are at home, right? They're not going to work, like as in going to the office, they're not commuting, bored in the bus stop, whatever. So they're not using their phones as much, but and that's why desktop traffic increased. But we will see a decrease again after people start getting back to normal lives. Looking at the questions. Okay, no questions so far. Okay, awesome. Cool. So this is just to show you why your website has to be mobile. On Wix, I can do that. On Wix, there's a way I can edit my website on how it looks on desktop, and there's a way I can edit my website on how it looks on mobile. I just literally drag and drop things. I'm like, okay, I want some white space here. This is looking weird, so I can do that myself. If your website is coded from scratch, talk to your developers and tell them, I want a mobile-friendly website. This is important, okay? Cool. Website structure. I'm cutting my head here. Oh my God, this is a new webcam. Okay, website structure. Organize your website like if you're organizing your house, okay? You're not putting your forks and knives in your bathroom. You're not, I don't know, stupid example, but organize your website in a way that everybody understands what's going on. This is an e-commerce example, okay? It's coming out of the homepage. Main topic pages will be women fashion, kids fashion, men's fashion, okay? Aliens fashion. Subtopic pages. Inside of women's fashion, I'll have pants, I'll have skirts, I'll have, what else? Since COVID, I only wear nice, whatever is on top, whatever appears on camera. So I don't care about the bottoms anymore. But anyway, these are the subcategories, right? And then you can even have a second level of products. You have separated by color, by occasion. There's so many different e-commerces that have outfits for a wedding, outfits for this, outfits for that. Really, just organize your website in a way that everybody understands what's going on, in a way that Google understands what's going on, in a way that people understand what's going on. If you're like, okay, you're talking about e-commerce. Okay, if you have consulting business, okay, you're gonna have about us, you're gonna have a media page, you're gonna have a contact me page, you're gonna have a blog section. Inside of your blog section, you're gonna have blogs about this and that, right? And then you're gonna have the actual blogs themselves. So when you're optimizing your website, or maybe you don't have a website yet, maybe you're creating a website, make sure that it has a structure that everybody understands. I added an image of a cool structure here just for you to, see what I'm talking about. This is I think they do IT consulting, stuff like that. So gleaned some local agency I found on Google. Just so simple, isn't it? Who we are, it's an about us section. What we do, our services. If I click on services, I go to, they do business consulting, they do IT, they do blah, da, 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 da. That's it. That's it. No brainer. Don't have to think too much. Just organize your website in an easy way. And put keywords that you're targeting in the names of these pages or in the names of your categories. That's essentially what you do. No secret to that, really. My God, that's a lot, right? There's so much more to SEO, so much more. Do some homework, okay? Go to moz.com, Beginner's Guide to SEO. This link is clickable on my presentation, no excuses. SEO is a science, a lot of stuff to consider, but you can get started by getting the basics right. What are the basics? This stuff that we just talked about. Website has to be well optimized. You have to explain Google what your website is about. Your website has to have good content that matches with your users' intent. And your website has to perform well. It has to be safe. It has to be well structured. It has to be mobile friendly. There's much more to it, many more details, and that's why I would kindly ask you to take a look at this beautiful guide here on Moz website after the lesson, because you're going to learn so much about SEO. SEO is not short term. It's not something that it's not like ads, for example. You turn on ads and you're gonna get clicks tomorrow, and maybe you even have sales tomorrow, right? It's short term. It's agile. It's not ads. SEO is not ads. These are two completely different things, but one complements the other. However, SEO is more about content, is more about bringing value, and what helps you on the long run. And the other interesting thing about SEO is that sometimes you talk to people who use the internet a lot, and people are more and more aware of ads, right? So when sometimes you see a lot of ads in a page, you're like, I'm just going to ignore all these ads here. I'm going to look at the actual content. People tend to value organic content more. So for these two reasons, which I think are big reasons, definitely invest time in SEO. You don't have to make things complicated. Just make sure you're adding value and then adding great content to your website, and you will definitely see results picking up soon. And that's it for today. Let me see how long I talked about it. Oh my god, 1 hour. That's crazy. Talk too much.
Oh, that was amazing, Talita. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I didn't see any questions in the chat. Where are your questions? Well, if you have questions later on, Melina will be sharing the slides, or send me an email, find me somewhere. I added here, find me on LinkedIn, add me, feel free to connect. I loved, talking to you guys about SEO today, and really, really happy that you joined the workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And yes, we'll take questions afterwards via email or whatnot.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Speak soon.